Hey everybody, Ryan here coming at you with another video, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you my complete Alfred Hitchcock collection. Now, I pretty much own every single Alfred Hitchcock film except for like a couple, so I'm going to show you what I have. I have a lot of stuff I've been collecting over the years. I used to have all the Alfred Hitchcock VHSs and I got rid of them a while back, I would say mid-2000s, and so here are my Blu-rays and my DVDs. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Alright, let's get this show on the road. First up, I have Alfred Hitchcock's The Lodger, the story of the London fog. And this is one of his silent films. It came out in 1927. This is a great film. It was basically it was one of his first films, but it's considered like the first signature Hitchcock film, because that's when he really starts, like taking on that thriller genre. And I highly recommend this film. It's a great film. Now, this is the Alfred Hitchcock Premiere Collection DVD, and this comes with, of course, commentary with film historian Patrick McGilligan, yeah. The Sound of Silence, The Making of the Lodger featurette. Comes with a 1940 radio play directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It comes with audio interviews with Peter Bogdanovich and Francois Truffaut. Then it comes with Hitchcock 101, restoration comparison, a still gallery, and a 1997 score by Paul Zaza, and a 1999 score by Ashley Irwin. And yes, so this is Alfred Hitchcock's 1927 The Lodger, the story of the London fog. Next up, we have this is like the second edition of this set that I've owned. The first one I got rid of a while back because it was really crappy, and this one I got as a gift from fellow YouTuber Angel Tarragon a few years ago. So this is actually the Alfred Hitchcock Mill Creek The Legend Begins set, and this one has a lot of his films that are still in public domain, and so there's not really a proper release for them yet, for the most part. And so this one has 4 DVDs, and it has a few episodes of the Alfred Hitchcock Presents TV show. It has his 1929 film Blackmail. It has 1928's Champagne. It has 1926's Easy Virtue. It also has 1928's The Farmer's Wife. It has the incredibly underrated film from 1939, Jamaica Inn, which is one of my favorite underrated Alfred Hitchcock films, and I cannot wait to pick up the Blu-ray when I get around to it. They just released a new restoration Blu-ray, and I've seen screenshots and it looks spectacular. So yeah, we have Jamaica Inn. We have 1930s Juno and the Paycock. We also have the public domain unrestored version of 1938's The Lady Vanishes, which I also have here. And then also another version of The Lodger. Well, not another version, just the unrestored version. And then we also have a unrestored version of The Man Who Knew Too Much. Also comes with 1926's The Manxman. Comes with 1932's Number 17. We also have 1932's Rich and Strange. We have 1927's The Ring. We have 1936's Sabotage. 1936's Secret Agent. 1931's The Skin Game. And then we have an unrestored version of 1935's The 39 Steps. We have 1937's Young and Innocent. And there is a bonus feature, a 55-minute Sir Alfred Hitchcock movie trailers spanning his legendary career. So it's a great set. Of course, it's all unrestored, basically public domain type stuff, so it's terrible quality. But I highly recommend it because a lot of these things you still can't get your hands on in a good format, so you might as well pick them up anyways just so you could still experience them. I think a handful of them are available on YouTube as well. So, yes, so that's the Alfred Hitchcock The Legend Begins set. Next up, we have the Turner Classic Movies Greatest Classic Films Hitchcock Collection. And this has Suspicion, Strangers on a Train, I Confess, and The Wrong Man. I love all four of these films. My favorite out of all of them would have to be a tie between Strangers on a Train and The Wrong Man. And this comes with, because this was basically the original, it's the original DVDs that are in here when they were released single and, solo releases. So it still has the special features that were on these DVDs. So Suspicion has a couple featurettes, theatrical trailers. Strangers on a Train has commentary by a bunch of people, and then a couple featurettes. I Confess has a featurette, a newsreel, and The Wrong Man has a couple featurettes and theatrical trailer. And I think I got this for like $10 on sale on Amazon. Great set. Highly recommend it. Alright. I think I'm going to scoot those over a little bit and actually put this one right there. Alright. Next up we have Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat from 1944. This is an amazing film, and it's another one of those films that's a closed, it all takes place in one setting, and basically the entire film takes place in the lifeboat of these survivors. And basically it's like a bunch of survivors from a ship and different personalities, and then all of a sudden the German captain of the ship that destroyed them, or the sub that destroyed them, washes aboard the boat. And so it's just about the tension and the drama between them, and it's just spectacular. Highly recommend this film. Highly recommend it. Next we have DVD of North by Northwest. Let me see. This Lifeboat only had a commentary and a featurette and a still gallery. And this has behind the scenes documentary and commentary and stuff like that. North by Northwest, everybody knows about this film. I haven't picked up the Blu-ray yet, but I definitely plan to. A lot of people widely this is considered one of Hitchcock's most acclaimed, if not the best film he did. A lot of people love this film. I really, really like this film, but I definitely don't. I don't even think it'd be in my top 10. Still a great film. I just don't can put it as high as some of the other ones that I love. But still a great film, though. I highly recommend it. Let me move the camera a little bit so you can still see the movies that are stacked up. As you can tell, I'm doing this Xeronizerac style, so I've been doing that the past couple of years or so. Next up, we have Alfred Hitchcock's Dial M for Murder. Really want to get this on Blu-ray. Special features, featurettes, theatrical trailer. This is another one of those closed set, not closed set. Basically, it all takes place in like one room. There's some exterior shots. There's some shots of one of the characters at another place. But for the most part, it all takes place in one apartment, which is awesome. And it's all the dialogue of this film is just spectacular. It just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Of course, this is one of the few performances that the amazing, basically my favorite actress and my favorite Hollywood crush of all time, Grace Kelly. This is one of her films. So, definitely an amazing film. I love this film so much. And eventually I'll get the Blu-ray. So, alright, put that right there. Next up, we have another Grace Kelly, Alfred Hitchcock film, and that is To Catch a Thief, and this is the Blu-ray. This has commentary, bunch of featurettes, and theatrical trailer, galleries. This film, it went from being one of my least favorite Hitchcock films, not necessarily because of the film itself, but the copy that was available for years was just terrible looking. It needed to be restored so bad, and so I just never went to this film as much. Of course, the scenes with Grace Kelly were always spectacular, because she is just stunning whenever she's on screen. But the film itself was in rough shape, and it is a different film for Hitchcock. It's a lot lighter, but this new Blu-ray with the restoration, it was one of the most beautiful Blu-rays that I've ever seen. They restored it, and it is beautiful. So I highly recommend you pick this up. The scenes, the scenery, oh man. I mean, the only thing I think that would rival this film, I would put it up there with like Barry Lyndon and maybe even like Ten Commandments and Ben-Hur in terms of how the restoration turned out. I mean, it is like spectacular. It looks like a brand new film, and now it's one of my more favorite Hitchcock films to watch, because it's beautiful to look at and it's entertaining, and it's just how it's supposed to be. So, yes, To Catch a Thief. Alright, next up we're going to get into the Criterion Hitchcocks that I have. First and foremost, one of them is a DVD, and it's a Essential Art House Janus Films presents of the 39 Steps. And this is a great restored copy as well. No, it's not in high def, but it still looks far better than the other copy that is on that, the unrestored copy. So, and this is very bare bones. Essential Art House is basically a branch of the Criterion Collection under the Janus Films banner. And basically they released the Criterion copies of the film on a bare bones DVD, and they just sold it for a cheaper price. So, yes, the 39 Steps. I actually love the novel, or the book that this is based on as well. I have that in the other room, but this is just an Alfred Hitchcock movie video, so. I'm going to put that one there. Put it right there. Put it right there. Next up, we have another Criterion DVD, and that is of The Lady Vanishes. And of course, this is loaded with special features, featurettes, behind the scenes stuff, photos, essays, your usual when it comes to Criterion. So yes, the Criterion of Lady Vanishes. Brilliant film, by the way, one of his best British films. Alright, let's go to the rest of the Criterion DVDs. These next three are actually out of print, and they're pretty rare in the condition that I have them. Let's see. The first one is Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious on Criterion. And this is in perfect condition, and it still even has the booklet, the Criterion catalog that came with it. Oh, I just cannot believe it. My wife got it for me one year for Christmas, and I just love this edition. My least favorite of the Alfred Hitchcock Criterion covers, but that's all good because the movie very much makes up for that. Not necessarily that the movie even has to make up for anything with the cover, But yeah, great film, great condition, Criterion. In fact, it's still like new. So, I mean, it is perfect condition. Alright, next we have Alfred Hitchcock's Criterion of Spellbound. And this has the same kind of special features that I've been reading off on these Criterions, so I won't even go bother with it. But this one also is in perfect condition with the booklet. And I love this film. It contains some of the most stunning dream sequences by Salvador Dali. So definitely a great pickup, and it's in perfect condition. Could not go wrong with that. There we go. Next up, we have another Criterion Hitchcock, and that is Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. Look at that cover. It's beautiful. And it's one of the thicker spines. And this is loaded with special features. And so this is his 1940 film that won the Best Picture Academy Award. So, yes, this is an amazing film, very atmospheric, and that's really what sells it. And it doesn't help that you have Jim Fontaine and Laurence Olivier just blowing away every scene that they're in. It is truly a romantic but very haunting film. It is so... the atmosphere in this film is amazing. To me, if you're going to go into the horror genre with film, like with cinematography or directing, you need to see this film as how the cinematography is and the atmosphere and how eerie. You should definitely take pointers from this film. So yes, Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. Next up, I have the Criterion Blu-Ray of The Man Who Knew Too Much. This film, words cannot describe how epic this film is. Far different from the remake with Jimmy Stewart, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. But basically it's the same story, but it's so much darker. It's such a dark film. Yeah, and this came out in 1934. And this is loaded with special features as well. Next up, we have Alfred Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent. And this is the dual format edition of Criterion. And this is loaded with special features as well. And of course, like any Criterion, it has the booklet and everything with it. I gotta show this packaging off. Actually, I already did an unboxing of this, I think, before on my channel. So I'll just show this real quick. Look at some of this packaging. And just look at this discs. Yeah, it's definitely an amazing release of a really great film. Heavily underrated. Alright. Last, but certainly not least, we have the Alfred Hitchcock UK Masterpiece Collection. The icing on the cake of my collection in terms of the Alfred Hitchcock stuff. I'll go ahead and put this right... And no, I'll just set it right there. So let's go ahead and see what films are in this. We have Saboteur with special features. We also have Shadow of a Doubt, masterpiece. I love this film. Rope. I'm one of those that really I mean, for the most part, most of his films are masterpieces of the genre anyways. So it's really hard for me to rate films in terms of which one's better than the other. And I kind of just stay out of debate in regards to all that, because to me, all of his films are amazing, and they break the mold in different aspects. So I just have personal favorites. I'll never say that one Alfred Hitchcock film, at least and from the 40s onward. I mean, I just can't say any film of his is better than the other, just because I love them all. So, except for, I do prefer some over others, but that's just, favorite. So, Rope, Rear Window, which is also in my top favorite films of all time. We have The Trouble with Harry. This film is black humor, dry humor at its best. It's so tongue in cheek and what's going on. It's such a great film. Then we have The Man Who Knew Too Much. Vertigo, also one of my favorite films of all time, and definitely a masterpiece of a Hitchcock film. Psycho, of course. One thing I noticed about this set, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of wish I had kept my older Blu-ray. Actually, no, I don't. I think I gave it to somebody as a gift. But the thing is with this set, I notice, because I had the original Blu-ray release, and it still had it had that film grain in it, and the natural film grain. It looked beautiful. It was such a beautiful transfer. This version is still a beautiful transfer, but it is DNR'd to hell. At least from my perspective. And so it kind of took out a lot of that grain, which is really annoying, but the picture is still great, but not nearly as good as the Blu-ray I used to have. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was DNR'd to hell, because I had definitely analyzed the picture of the first Blu-ray. Then I put this in and I was looking at it and I was like, interesting. It doesn't look as grainy as it did before. So, yeah. Then we have The Birds. Marnie. Torn Curtain. I love these Cold War era Alfred Hitchcock films. They're usually considered his least liked. But Torn Curtain, and especially Topaz, which is universally considered among Hitchcock fans as his worst movie. No, not in my opinion. I love every single second of this film. It is. I love it. I think it's one of the perfect Cold War thrillers. And the scenes of I don't want to blow up, but there's a scene where a character is kind of looking at the events that, he's basically spying on somebody. And he has somebody going into a building to, do something for him. And the camera is like across the street looking into the building, and very voyeuristic, in terms of, kind of like a Rear Window, how it is so great. I love that film. I think really what made it suffer is the fact that there's not really any well-known stars in it. I mean, John Forsythe is definitely a well-known star, but everybody else at the time, I mean, there's no big names with this film at all, like on the poster or anything. And we have Frenzy, which is, Alfred Hitchcock's, in my opinion, his most disturbing film. He definitely didn't hold back. And then we have Family Plot, which in its own right is, I'm glad he went out with a black comedy, because I just love black comedies, and it's just a fun movie as well. Of course, it'd be great to go out with like a Hitchcock masterpiece, but I like how his last film is a fun film, and it's lighthearted, still has a lot of thriller in it, but it's funny, tongue-in-cheek, black comedy. The end. And that is also the end of my Alfred Hitchcock video. Sorry this video was so long. I always like to make the audience suffer as much as possible. So, yes, that is my Alfred Hitchcock collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me your comments, or let me know what you think down below. What are some of your favorite Hitchcock films? Let me know down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Special thanks to all my Patreon supporters and to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of the day.